Hello, welcome to another episode of Garden to Table with Rose, and I am Rose. So here we are again in the front yard. I'm doing my morning walk through. It's about 6:30, and my voice is a little hoarse today. So let's see what is in disarray out here. This liriope, it seems to be blooming, and I do know the pollinators love that stuff. Yeah, it seems to be very popular. Everything's growing nicely. The apple trees are even getting bigger. I need to come and cut this out of here. This is feverfew, but it's fallen over, so I need to get that out. Maybe I'll use it in a flower bouquet. I still have my 3 little apples here that I am waiting on them to ripen. Hopefully they're tasty. Hopefully the bugs haven't gotten to them. I mean, I do my spraying thing, but you never know. With insects, it's a constant struggle. These 2 white coneflowers I planted over here. I finally remembered planting them here because I got a 4-pack. So I planted 2 over here and 2 over on the other side, but they're getting big, and I do like them. I am probably going to move this hydrangea out of here in the fall. If you can see it. That was planted before I put in this little fence section, so it would have had more room to spread out, but now it's just kind of crowded up against the fence. So I'm going to take that out. I'm going to take out this pink yarrow just because it doesn't belong here. This is supposed to be a moon garden, and I will probably put that one somewhere else though, because I really like that muted pink color. And then just going down the driveway here, all the lilies are done. I didn't bother to deadhead the tips, and I don't think I will. I think I'll just leave them there until fall when they start to die back, and then I'll trim them all down. This little fluffy arborvitae here, I have 2 of these, and they're finally putting on a little growth. I love that color. Look at that. It's like a chartreuse or a yellowy green. Very nice. I don't think they get very tall. It's a proven winter's shrub, and I think they only get, I don't know if it was 4 or 5 feet, somewhere in there, between 4 and 6 feet. Not too big, not too big. What else do I have going on in here? Everything that was blooming is done. The Orlea's done, and here we just have seed pods. So like I said before, I want that to reseed itself because I really like the Orlea. And then the Astilbe, that's been cleaned off by the pollinators, so it's just kind of brown. And of course that's a perennial, so that will come back. I'm gonna go up this side of the little moon garden and then come back. A lot of things I cut down, like those daisies, because they just grow tall quickly and they're all over the place. There's even a little Astilbe, it looks like just now starting over here. It's white. This has to come out, this purple. Now you see all of this white. Obviously it says to me that there was a purple accidentally mixed into the bag with the whites, because for me to have this much white liriope, it was some kind of grab bag or bag with multiple bulbs in it. So I'll just pull that out. I don't really like the purple. I can deal with the white, but the purple liriope or monkey grass or whatever it's called, I don't like it. There's a bunch in the little front section that I have already removed. The mini roses, I did hit it those, the drift roses, the white drift rose. I can't remember what brand it was, but I have deadheaded them, and I don't know if they put out a second flush or not. This Moonrock hydrangea is doing beautifully. Look at this. This is one panicle. Yeah, this is the 2nd year. I planted this last year it probably was in a little 3-inch pot. It was, most of the things I get are very small, but it has very sturdy stems. I mean, even the first year I planted it, the stems that grew were very strong and sturdy, and I like it. I like those a lot. And as I've said before, I got like I think now I have like 4 or 5 moon rocks. I have quite a few of them. A couple are in the back, but there are some up here too. I also love this 9-bark. I've said it before. Yeah, that one, I think it was called Black Panther or something like that. But But strong, sturdy stems is beautiful. I'm not cutting off of it because it's new. I just planted it either this spring or at the end of last season. I'm thinking it's this spring though. I mean, it's just really taken off, but it doesn't have many stems. So let's go back this way. My Lisianthus, finally, all the plugs I planted, the hundreds of plugs I planted, are finally starting to bloom, and I am so excited because I love this flower. I mean, what's not to love? Look at that. Look at that. It's like a rose, but it's not. It's like a rose, but it's an annual and no thorns. From what I have read, you're supposed to let the first bloom go and then wait until like the second one opens or something like that before you pick it. And it is a cluster, it appears, the blooms. So you would pick, I'm assuming, a whole cluster, because I don't see any other way to do it if you want a decent sized stem. So yeah, there are a couple of the purple ones. This one is second flowers opening on this one. This one is a little bit lighter purple than the other one. But yeah, there should be a mix of colors here. Obviously this purple is an earlier bloomer, it seems. There's another one. But yeah, and a lot of them died off overall, the Lisianthus plugs, but I still have quite a few, and it's more than enough for me because at this point I'm just making bouquets for myself. The roses, I did head the roses regularly, as I've said before, and they continue to flush out. I see that white one over there needs to be deadheaded. The Julia Child has several blooms on it. They need to be deadheaded. The only ones I don't do a lot of deadheading to is probably this one here, and that's because of the way it blooms. I don't know what you would call this, but it has a cluster of blooms on each, at the end of each stalk here, and there's a name for that. I'm not sure which type of rose that is, but that makes it a little more harder to deadhead because the blooms open at different times, and so you would be in here trying to pick out a little flower and deadhead that. And to me, that's similar to deadheading the mini roses. I don't do that often because it's just too tedious. That over there is with these super tall canes here. That is that Sally Holmes climbing rose, and I need to trim that back because I don't want that to get any taller than that tutor that it's in, because it is a climbing rose, and so it kind of gets kind of wild. So I try to keep that pretty small. And then this red rose over here has a few blooms on it. Those blooms are huge on that one. And I'm not sure if that's Dolly Parton or Mr. Lincoln, one of the two, I think. I got another red one here. Hydrangeas, these little wee whites, as you can see, they have been blooming for a while. So the blooms are actually getting old and kind of faded. They were like a light pink, a blush when it started. And I had 3. And for the life of me, I could not find number 3. So I assumed it died because I planted like kind of 3 in a row. And I think I found it. I don't know what happened to it, but I think that is it. For whatever reason, it didn't come up in the same time as everything else did. And now it's just now starting to revive itself, to come up from the ground. So I'm excited about that because it just would look better with 3 of those. And then I got 2 oak leaf hydrangeas in there. There's a pinky winky, a second pinky winky. The pinky winkies are the ones with this, they have kind of a, let me get in here and not get touched by a thorn. They kind of have a red stem, if you can see that. Yeah, it's a nice red stem. The stems look sturdy. The panicles are more airy and open on this one, so I can get to one. You see that? It's more airy and open than some of the other panicle ones, but it's beautiful. The pinky winkies get pretty tall, I believe, as do these 2 oak leaves I have over here, which is fine. My goal was to have the tall shrubs in the middle, because that way with the shorter on either side, the shorter can still get sun. The tall ones won't be blocking it from sun. The sun does come from that way. you know, comes from the east. But I still do get a good amount of sun on this side as well at points during the day. I took out a lot of the buplorum because it had fallen over in the storm. I left a lot here though because, you know, there's only so much I could take out at once, and I'm still using it in bouquets, and I wanted to reseed. So I took out all of the purple liriope that was here. There was a lot of it here, and which opened up a nice space because I do have a yew there that's small now, but it's going to get a lot bigger. And that weeping red bud, I don't know if you can see it. Let me try to get in here without falling. There's a weeping red bud here. I think it's called the lavender twist or something like that. But anyway, I just planted that in the spring, and it's already, it was just a stick, just a bare root, and it's already pretty tall. I think I've lost my lavender over there. It kind of fell over in the storm, and I tried to replant it a little bit deeper because when it fell over, it kind of pulled part of the roots out, and it just isn't bouncing back. So I may have lost that one, which is unfortunate. So, and this is a snowball viburnum. It's getting bigger, which is nice. And all the chrysanthemums here, they're getting taller too. Some of them are trying to bloom, but they're pretty short. I want to use these for cut flowers, so I want them tall, as tall as possible. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. But let's see, not much else going on over here. A couple of nut trees. All my little shrubs. You can see that yarrow that I moved from somewhere else and put it here is blooming, and it's multiple colors. This one, multiple shades of pink. I like it, and white. And see, I did have to trim this clematis way back. That thing grows so fast. All of this growth is within this season. It's going to be beautiful because when it flowers, which is closer to the fall, it's these little white flowers all over it, and they are beautiful. So here's another oak leaf hydrangea. It's getting big, but there are no blooms, and my little tree is kind of covering it up. I'm going to have to trim those branches back a little bit on that tree. Now this oak leaf hydrangea at least has a bloom on it, a panicle. It looks healthy, so I am happy. So far so good. See, this is starting to flower now. I have one on the other side that is much further behind in development, even though they were planted at the same time. This is the Rose Creek Abelia, and it is starting to flower. Flowers are white now, but I do think they turn pink from what I've seen in the pictures. I do think at some point they will turn pink. Oh, I got to get over here and show you this yellow butterfly bush I got. I'm trimming these two. This nectarcot and apricot, man, I have to trim these things. It seems like every week. They grow like crazy. And the limbs grow in all directions. You know what I mean? They don't just grow straight out. They don't just go straight up and out. They go down, they go sideways, they go in all kinds of weird directions. So I'm constantly trimming that. This butterfly bush has gotten huge. It went from looking like it was going to die when I had it in the other bigger bed on the other side, where I think it was just getting too much water because I have to water over there regularly. So it went from that to this huge thing in just a couple of months. And look at the little flower stalks. They're like little balls of flowers. Too cute. I like it. Surprisingly, one of those foxgloves that I planted from the nursery has come up, and I'm shocked because I thought it would be like a biennial, and I thought I would have to wait until next year. But it's beautiful. It's a dark pink. I think I have two on this side and two on the other side. And I'm hoping, I'm not sure, but I'm hoping it is a perennial and it will come back. Now this beautyberry bush, it's looking very bizarre to me. I don't understand this mottled color. I don't know if it has some kind of disease issue, which everything else over here is healthy, so I don't know what's going on. I'm going to compare it to the other one when we go to the other side, but It's getting little buds, like little flower buds, but it looks strange. Now look at this. This is the little lime or little lime prime. Or maybe it's just little lime, I'm not sure. But it is a proven winner hydrangea, and it is beautiful. OMG. The panicles are green right now. And there's a ton of them all over it. Now this one I am trimming up into a tree form. So I only left like 3 main branches coming from the ground. Anything else I cut off. And I will, as it grows taller, I'll probably keep trimming branches from the bottom to make it look more like a tree. I want it to be like a standard, you know. So happy about that. Looks like this foxglove over here is deciding it's going to bloom too. This is the other little lime. Now here's the other beautyberry, and this one looks different. It looks healthier for sure. The leaves on this one look, I mean, they still have a kind of mottled looking color, mixed colors, but it doesn't look like that other one. So I don't know what's going on with that other one. I may cut that other one down. I mean, I might wait until fall though. I don't know if I should do it right now and getting close to the end of July. But when I do my fall cleanup, I'm probably going to cut that one down to the ground because I don't like the way those leaves are looking, and hopefully that rectifies it. So let me go back out my little arbor and go around the front and show you what's going on the outer sides. But there's the front, backing up. Hopefully no traffic comes by this early. But there's the front. Man, if you could see the before. Matter of fact, I'm going to put a picture of the before on this, up at the top of the screen here when I edit this because I can't even believe how different it looks. And all of this is in less than 2 years. Yeah, this whole project. And I did most of it by myself. Just me and my shovel. So, and my favorite shovel. Okay, more of the same. More yarrow, butterfly bushes. This ornamental oregano has finally bloomed all out. It's so pretty. This is oregano, but it's an ornamental variety that flowers. That's supposed, well, they all flower eventually, but this one has bigger flowers, I guess. And so you could use the oregano leaves. It's oregano, but I got enough oregano in the backyard, so I don't use it for cooking. But the persimmon trees, they are so pretty. This is a great tree to me. If you just want a fruit tree, especially just for ornamental purposes, because bugs do not seem to bother this tree, and I guess it's because the leaves are so glossy. They're like, you know, they're glossy. They have a sheen to them and almost like a wax coating on them, and so they're just pretty and not much bothers them. As soon as I said that, I found a leaf that had some bug damage. As it figures. There's one there that has a few holes, it looks like from a beetle or something. I'll take that leaf off. And this is the this is the Kwanzaa cherry tree, which I am letting grow to its full glory because I want this to kind of be a screen here for the house, a screen for me, because when I look out my front windows, I don't want to see the neighbors' houses, really. I want to see beautiful plants. So I'm going to let that one get as tall as it wants. This rose has taken off. Oh my gosh. This is one of a series that I planted from Jackson and Perkins, something like that it's called, an online company. So they were having a clearance on roses, on just the bare root roses. So I got several, and this is one. So they've only been in the ground for a month and a half, maybe 2 months at the most, because it was at the end of the season where you would buy bare root roses. You usually would plant those when it's cold outside, you know, at the end of winter. So I wasn't expecting them to do much since I planted them so late. But look at this. Oh my God, that's, see my hand for comparison size, but you see how big that bloom is. And there are several. They're all over it. There's more buds on it. Oh, that rose is beautiful. I never thought I would like that peachy color, but I've really gotten into it in flowers. Okay, one of my elephant ears over here is finally making its debut. Of course, this Kwanzaa cherry tree is trying to hide it, but it's getting huge. I love those. I'm going to dig those up, as I've said before. My little maple tree is still doing well. I cleared out a lot of stuff that was in here. There was this huge hyssop anise that had started falling over because it was so big. I took that out. I took out a lot of the annuals that was here. There was a lot of bupleurum, a lot of snapdragons in here. And to give this stuff room, the perennials room, this is another, of course, hydrangea. And I'm not sure if this is a moon rock. Let me see. Here's a sign. Yes. This is a moon rock, another one. And it's getting nice and big as well. All of that is Baptisia, which has flowered long ago. This is a little maple that I'm worried about. This one just doesn't seem to be putting on much growth, although it still has green leaves, thank God. But maples are not inexpensive. They're a little pricey, so I don't want to lose it. You know, I would like it to grow big and tall. It would be, you know, kind of like the tallest thing in this spot and kind of anchor this area along with that cherry tree. So I still got this Annabelle hydrangea here that's still blooming, still has huge panicles. The only thing with Annabelles is they are floppy. It's the old school variety, so you do have to prop them up, but that's okay because it's you know, it's kind of protected by all these other things, and it's just kind of in the middle of the bed, so that doesn't bother me too much. My Bosnian pine is growing, and I'm very happy about that. I love that tree. It's just so pretty, and I rarely see those. I mean, at least not in neighborhoods around where I live. So the crocosmia is in its full glory, and that is, at least in my garden, that is the favorite flower of the hummingbird. They are always here getting nectar from this crocosmia, and it is beautiful to watch. This is another 9-bark, another dark one. I think this is summer wine or something like that. It's approved in winters. It's finally growing. That has been here since last season, and it's just growing as slow as molasses. But anyway, it's finally growing. This is the Atlas rose. I just planted this. I mean, it must have been 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, it's flowering, which I'm surprised, but I'm not expecting it to be too big. These 2 white clematises are growing. This one's growing a little bit faster. These are Duchess of Edinburgh, or something like that. But they have beautiful big white flowers. And then here's another one of the rose bushes I got from Perkins and Jackson, or Jackson and Perkins. This one needs to be deadheaded. So let me just pull it off. And then I can't remember what shrub this was, but this is just a perennial shrub here. One that I thought probably would eventually I could use for some cuttings too. This is my favorite rose of all the new ones so far. Look at that. It's like petals, all these folded petals. Kind of reminds me of the David Austin type roses, English type roses. It's a light peach, and it has a few blooms on it. That is beautiful. Love that one. Another perennial shrub in there. My peaches are turning the right color on this tree, the Saturn peach, but man, they're tiny. I was like, I thought they should be a little bit bigger than that. These things, you can see my hand. I mean, that's how tiny they are. But there's a lot of them in here, and I did thin them, and there was peach drop. Where at a certain point, a lot of them just drop off, but they're still small. Maybe they'll get bigger next year. This is the first year they've ever fruited. This peach tree, they're still small too, but they're not even turning red yet. So, or orangish red, you know, peach color. So those have a ways to go still. My Rose of Sharon tree is now wanting to bloom. Look at that. Finally has buds and everything on it. Now this is crazy. This is the color, or closer to the color I thought I was getting. I ordered a red Rose of Sharon tree, and the first year it bloomed, last year, The blooms were all like lilac. They were purple. They were this light purple. And so I assume they just sent me the wrong one. And now this year, it's a whole different color. This is pink, like a magenta. It's closer to red. so maybe, uh-oh, one of my little peaches has fallen. Get rid of that. It's not ripe. So yeah, I don't know what's happening with that tree, but I'm liking that magenta color better than the purple. Okay, another one of the rose bushes. This is a beautiful soft pink. Oh my gosh, love it. I do love roses. More shrubs thrown in there, more perennial shrubs, and a couple more roses that just haven't bloomed or anything yet. Because I think when I ordered those roses, I don't know, it might have been 6, 8. There were a lot of them because they were, I'm telling you, they were like $5 or something a piece. $5 or $10, something like that. They were really inexpensive, so I ordered several of them. Yeah. So that's what we have going on this side. Now, eventually, I do need to do something with this edge. I haven't done anything yet. I may just bite the bullet and buy more bricks to line it. I didn't want to do that though, because it's like I said before, if I expand this strip, which would be optimal, over to these trees eventually, I don't want to lift them all back up, but it's looking sad over here. I could just line it up, I guess. Get my edger out and just line it up. Maybe I need to do that. We'll see. That's more of a fall project. It's not really on my to-do list anytime soon. This forsythia is doing quite well. It's huge. I've already cut it back probably twice because it keeps wanting to spill over into the walkway, and it just grows back. I need to move these hostas in the fall because they're too close to the walkway. So I'm going to move those over somewhere shady. And over here, of course, as I said before, there are 3 little ball boxwoods here from Southern Living. I think they're called the Little Gem or Baby Gem, one of the two. And then there are several of the chrysanthemums here. And there were several ranunculus and anemone corms that I had planted that had come up. Oh, look at that. That one has a bloom. You know what? This looks a lot like a dahlia flower. A lot like it. I mean, it's smaller, obviously, than a lot of the dahlias, but it looks just like the dahlias I got growing in my backyard. Which is interesting because these are supposed to be perennials, and here, I mean, in my zone, I can leave them in the ground, and I don't imagine they're as bothered with bugs as the dahlias are, because the dahlias get a lot of bug damage. I mean, I'm not very impressed with dahlias, actually. A lot of bug damage. You got to dig them up every year. The flowers don't last very long, the cut flowers. So, I don't know. I may not really do dahlias unless I just do the ones from seed, where I don't have to worry about digging up anything, and it's just an annual, treat it like an annual. This is the red twig dogwood, and it's getting big. It certainly is spreading out. Then over here, I just move my bird baths around. I move them around pretty regularly because what happens is with all the water splashing and me putting water in them, the spot where it is tends to depress, kind of sink in a little bit. So I try to just kind of keep moving them to different spaces where they can sit level. Over here, I got my variegated hydrangea there. It's finally getting some size on it. There are 2 of those in there, but I have yet to see a bloom on it. I don't know that it's going to bloom this year, maybe next year. What else do I have? A bunch of barberries in there behind that birdhouse. This is a beautiful hydrangea. So the panicles are open and airy again because it's an oak leaf. And they started out white kind of whitish it seems, and then it went to kind of a light pink, and now it's a kind of a darker pink. So I really like that one too. I can't remember the name, if it's ruby slippers or something like that. Yeah. Now this is an annual. This is Scabiosa, and I think I just had empty space, so I put it there. So that will be coming out at the end of the season. And then I have two of the white coneflowers in here, that one and that one over there. There's more butterfly bushes here in the front, which I put them here for a reason. The reason is because the front here at this edge doesn't get watered as much, because I do have little drip hoses, but I don't have it extending all the way to the edge. I do also use a sprinkler to supplement the watering, because those little drip hoses, they just don't give enough water. But yeah, so the things close to the edge don't usually get as much water as the things back in the bed, and so butterfly bushes are drought tolerant. So it's a great place to plant them. There's a little hostin here, which doesn't belong here really. I need to think about moving that one out and putting it on the other side, which is really shady. I mean, it does okay here, but it's swallowed up by all these other big things. Look at that. This is another one of the elephant ears. Actually, this is two different varieties. There's one that has more of a dark purple leaf. Can you see it there? And then this one has the green leaf. And it's hard to tell the scale of these things when you look at them on a screen, but let me show you my hand. That's my hand touching it, and as you can see, it is humongous. Ginormous. I love it. I love those things. I am going to definitely dig those up at the end of the season. And in there are more hydrangeas that are flowering. If you can see them flowering, budding up. So there's two side by side there. And then there's this one over here. I think this is, let me see if I can get in there through this mass of crocosmia. I think this is a pufferfish here. It looks like a pufferfish. And just wanted to show you the bloom on that. But it's huge. Okay, there's my hand. It's bigger than my hand, the bloom. And it's, you know, it gets this airy little, I don't even know what you call them, like little offshoots at the top. It's a unique hydrangea, definitely. The look of the bloom is unique, so I do like that one. And then there's just a lot of yarrow sprinkled in here. This is the Artemisia that I just planted this season. I think I had 2 or 3 little starts from the nursery, and it's finally growing. It's gaining some size. I just put this in here because I wanted to break up the green, that one shade of green with a different shade of green. So this one is more of a blue green, gray green. So I need to put more of that over here. So what I'm going to do is try to do this slowly. When I'm going to divide all of this lamb's ear. I have 3 big patches of it. So I'm going to divide all of that in the fall and give some to one of my friends, hopefully. And then I'm going to scatter some of this lamb's ear. There's 3 huge clumps. I'm going to scatter some of that over on this side to break up that, you know, shade of green, grass green, I'll call it. It's usually the regular green. Now I do have a lot of chartreuse sprinkled in there, but that's it. So yeah, I think some of that more, the gray green, will look really good in there. So hopefully this wasn't too long. Nothing else is going on here new. The window boxes are still a sad affair. The sedum is doing well, so I need to add more sedum. Whenever I get back to the nursery this season, I'll buy more sedum, because that's all that I'm going to put in those things, because I can't seem to figure it out. The pots are doing well still. You know, everything's doing quite well and growing quite vigorously. So that is all I have for today. Until next time, bye bye.